Good morning. Good morning. Well, it's. I think that's it. Just good morning, because I don't care what time zone you are. This is probably too early for you. So, welcome to a very special episode of LMTV and the technology for the journey. So first of all, let me welcome my co-host Paul Smith. Morning, Paul. Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
I recognize I recognize the picture in the back. You must be in California.
Oh, you're getting pretty smart tracking this down. Yeah, I'm
unless you fly with that picture frame and and you put that behind you wherever you are.
No, it's so generated background actually. So.
And Paul, let us both welcome our two very special guests today, Christian Reyes and Stephen Walker. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, you actually did go back and get your glasses. I didn't know that. Yeah, so that's one of the things that we need to talk about. And Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing well this morning, Denny. It's nice to be back. It's been quite some time.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this the other day. You know, I'm Chinese, as you know, but I'm actually specifically Cantonese, Southern Chinese, and we have very graphic language. And so one of the things that we say when we see an old person dating a young girl is that we say old cows like young grass. Right, so that's how we describe them. So this show is not about that, but we are lusting. This show is about old guys lusting over young things. Okay.
I'm not sure I see the difference, Denny.
I wondered how you were going to tie that.
So this show is about a bunch of. See, back in the days when I was a teenager, I used to think that 30 is old, you know, but now I think that's most of us are twice that. But let me go to my youngest panel member, Christian. What do you got to say for yourself for the last year?
Well, it's been a wild, crazy ride since the last time I was in the show.
You know, I checked. It was exactly a year ago.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the middle of February. It was the last time you were on the Minority Show, and it was also the time you said, Denny, I think I better start taking care of my business.
Well, not only that, you know, business and family time, you know, but yes, this time last year, our business kind of exploded, amazing growth. You know, and we're still continuing that trajectory. As a matter of fact, I thought that by now my schedule would have gotten a little bit more stable, but I'm working more hours now. We keep adding people to the team, and we're just growing at an amazing pace.
And now this is actually a very worthy topic. The contraption that you have on your head, what's known as the Google Glass. That actually has been with you all this time as you grow your business, right?
Absolutely, it's been with me now for a year and 2-3 months now, 15 months.
And that's always been my thought is that the Google Glass is not a consumer item. It's actually I always call it the tool for the man in uniform, right?
I have to agree with you, even though we didn't agree. We didn't agree on that last year when I first got them. With my excitement, you know, the possibilities. The problem is not the device per se. The device is very stable, very useful, even to as a consumer-facing device. The problem is perception. As we know, perception is 90%. So the market didn't receive it very well. Most of it because of misinformation. You hear a lot of negative press and a lot of negative comments about privacy with this device because it's always on your face and there happens to be a camera right here. And I think that if the first generation of the device had not had a camera, even though you would have taken away a lot of its functionality, maybe the the reception by the public would have been a little bit better. But to this day, here in the South, where I live in Atlanta, people are very excited to see them. I'm typically when they see me, it's the first time they ever seen the device. Of course, you know, if I have the time, I still do my evangelism on the device and let people try it and let people use it, answer the questions. The number one question is, I just think it's a little creepy because of the camera. You can be recording me without me knowing. And typically, I preempt that by typically when they start talking, we start talking about Google Glass, and they start asking the questions. Typically, they don't. That's not the first question they ask. Typically, that question comes later. But the whole time, I'm holding my phone, and I'm not only holding my phone, but the whole time, I'm just doing this, talking to them, answering them questions. And then at the end, when they ask that question, I say, I've been recording you with my phone the whole time. And you never asked me about the phone in my hand with a big camera pointing at me. And the Google Glass was never turned on. So, as an illustration of privacy and their fears on privacy and wearing this device, that's always the example and it clicks on them. I said, yes, there are cameras everywhere. People can record me without me knowing. You know, smartphones are so ubiquitous now that nobody even thinks about you pointing this big camera at them and recording them the whole time.
I'm actually I was never really too concerned about privacy. I was really thinking how I always thought that it's just slightly ahead of its time in the sense of how it would become more of a distraction when you meet customers. Do you find that to be the case, that or is it more? It could also work for you, right? That becomes your brand.
It does. It does. People are, my clients and suppliers are very curious. Most of the times they want to try them out. They think it's really cool. For me, it's a tool of. For me, my workstation, I have 5 monitors, 4 computers, and for me, with my workload and the amount of emails and notifications that I get, whether it's emails, text messaging, IMs, it allows me to really quickly sort through those and know when I need to pay attention to something, or I can just continue to work. Notifications have gotten really useful, and over the last 4 software updates, they have now added a feature of glancing. When you glance at the screen, you get a notification and you glance at the screen. Before you had to touch it, turn it on, and see what it was. But now, if you get a notification, you just glance at the screen turns on, gives you the notification, and it very quickly turns off. So you can very quickly decide if it's something that you need to stop and pay attention to or not. So for my workflow, it works absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Paul, you were gonna say something, or maybe Paul?
No, I was just scratching my beard.
To turn on your Google Glass?
Yeah. It's funny because I was curious. I'm glad Christian's on talking about this because I was curious. For me, I don't know if I've ever been an early adopter. I can think back. Maybe I was probably the first kid in my college class to get an HP 35 calculator. I don't know if you remember those. It was the first real scientific calculator that you could get.
$1,000.
Very sophisticated. Yeah. I think I paid $400 for mine, so maybe it wasn't the first one, but it was. Yeah, it was. That was a lot of money back then, right?
Actually, I suspect that's more money back those days than the Google Glass is today.
You're probably right. It was a huge job. How people reacted, and it was very cool. It was very useful. Yeah. But that was the last time I've been an early adopter. And part of my concern was, is this going to be just a bling thing? Like, it's just so cool to have this, and then after a while I'm going to think, it's just not really doing much for me. It's not really helping me much. I'm not using it. and going to end up in a drawer, or is it actually going to integrate in my life and just part of me? So if I get up in the morning and it's not there, I'm going to be lost. And it sounds like that's where Christian's at. Sounds like where you're at, man. If the glass wasn't there in the drawer and then missing, and you had to go through your day, it would be different. You'd really miss the thing.
Well, I carry 2 cell phones, and they're constantly going on. And so, I have the glass connected to one, the main business phone, and then the Motorola smartwatch.
Oh boy.
But they both serve the same function, which is allow me to quickly glance at the millions of millions is exaggeration, but the hundreds of notifications we get a day, and sort through what is important and what's not. So Denny is right in a way. The future of glass is in verticals.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what do you? So you have both. You have both the Google Glass and a smartwatch,
Yes.
and of course, supposedly Apple will be announcing their Apple Watch in a month or so. You think that's but smartwatch has been around for at least a year now, right?
2.
2 years, yeah. So is this another one where Apple will do something that other people have done already and just do it better, or they might not even have to. They might not even. What do you think that would be? Look, talking from a perspective of someone who actually have used a device like that for a while.
Well, I think
what can the smart glass do? That's the question I have. It's just why would I need a glass? Why would I need a watch?
a watch is okay. So you're retired and you're an entrepreneur and you've been the boss for a long time. So you kind of don't have the constraints that millions of other people do. They're increasingly more connected. Their lives really their devices are an appendage. Take somebody between 18 and 26 or 27, their device away, and they'll have withdrawals. So a watch is going to allow them to do. A smartwatch is going to allow them to do several things. It's going to take some of the functions that you can do on the smartphone, as far as communications, as far as notification glancing and things like that, and make it very inconspicuous for them to be able to do in their work or professional setting, or maybe that's frowned upon, where maybe they're not allowed to use a device. They'll be able to just do that. Also, for millions of people that live in packed cities where they don't have transportation, they're typically walk or take public transportation somewhere. Again, hundreds of notifications a day. Quickly be able to just glance at your wrist. It's a very natural motion, and see, do I need to take my phone out? And who knows, while there other applications or other redundancies are going to be transferred now to the wrist instead of the smartphone. For example, I can call a car from my smartphone, a Lyft or an Uber. I can I can do simple health track. That's going to be the biggest market for wearables. So I know Apple had to redesign their health kit deal on their watch to get in trouble with the FDA. But right now I can get a summary of my activity. At the end of the day, I can set myself goals to lose this big belly, and kind of a gamification of your health status, where it gives you positive reinforcement when you achieve those goals.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Steve, Steve and I had lunch a few days ago. Steve happened to be in the Bay Area, and so we actually did talk about smartwatch. And one of the things that I thought about again after talking to Steve is that, at least for me, when we're kind of all very similar. Again, Christian, you being a little younger than us, but we're kind of sandwiched between aging parents and kids growing up. And Paul actually have a grandkid, right? He's the only one here that has a grandkid. And so our technology, we think of our technology more of a management tool than a communication tool. We use it to manage our time, and I think more and more we use it to manage stress. Right? It's not that we're getting more stress as we go older. It's that we have less tolerance for stress as we go older. So we were thinking that we couldn't figure out why would we need a smartwatch unless it is a health monitoring tool, right, Steve?
Yeah, that was the thing that we came up with. But what struck me about what you were saying, Christian, is that it becomes something that you look at before you pull your phone out. And one thing that I have been thinking about these smartwatches is that the market that they're going toward is trying to replace the smartphone. And I never thought about it as being a tickler or an indicator that, hey, I need to get my phone out. We always, as technologists, go for smaller. You're noticing, right? The Google Glasses are basically a computer you put on your head so that you can see it very close to your eye. The smaller we get with the interfaces, the tinier the information becomes, and the smaller the interaction potential becomes. There's no keyboard on a smartwatch. It's a touch screen. And so I don't know how companies are going to manage providing useful interfaces to people as the screens get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Well, for example, a lot of redundant things that can be, this particular watch, the Motorola 360, uses the Android Wear platform. And the Android Wear platform is an extension of the Google Now platform on your mobile devices. So it's voice activated. So I can, for example, this is the watch interface. When I tap it, I can say Minority Report, and it will do a quick search for that term.
Yeah.
I can ask it, but that's something that you don't particularly may want to re-consume information because the screen is a lower resolution, it's smaller. You can do that on your phone, but where it becomes very, very useful is as an extension of your assistant. For example, I tell it to set calendar appointments, set reminders. I can tell it, I can reply to text or instant messages very quickly, just using my voice.
Okay.
And those are things that I will have to pull my phone. I will maybe have to stop because I can't do two things at the same time. I can't look at my phone and walk. And now I can just simply just continue to do what I'm doing and just reply naturally with my voice. But I agree with you. The key to this is as a health tracker and as a ticker to not have to take your phone out every 5 seconds.
So Denny's comment is that the generational gap in using the technology is that the younger people tend to use it more as a communications tool to stay in touch with people, and people in our generation use it more as an information management tool. Do you think you'll ever get to the point where the watch will replace the phone and you'll be comfortable leaving your phone at home and just having a watch?
Absolutely not. Maybe they'll. I don't think looking at the watch, that's our generation looks at it as the Dick Tracy device, where he no longer needed to use the payphone on the side of the road or the phone in the car. I don't remember if he had a car phone, but now he was using his wrist device for everything. I don't think that Apple or even its competitors, or most of its competitors, because we're seeing some devices that are trying to, with SIM card slots, that are trying to replace the phone. But those are very misguided efforts. I think that as a companion to another device, maybe we'll get to the point where we won't have, the trend is, on these devices, the screens are getting bigger and bigger. Maybe the future of the wearables are to where you offload most of the communication to something like the watch, and then leave consumption to the bigger screen device that you can keep in your purse, in your backpack, or whatnot. But I think that that they're still trying to find that sweet spot between a tablet and a phone. And whenever I think that they've actually found it, they keep going bigger. So now we're up to 6 inches for the iPhone 6.
Yeah, but the one thing that I've found in having a phone, and I've had a cell phone since the 90s, is that I don't wear a watch anymore. And I love not wearing a watch. So the idea that I would then put something, and forgive me, Christian, but that thing is freaking massive on your wrist.
It is. But I'm a watch guy. I'm a watch guy. So if you look at my traditional watches, my mechanical watches, they're bigger than these. I have a Breitling Hercules, which is 116 grams. It's heavy. If I wear the whole day, my wrist hurts.
But it is true that
bicep is a little bigger on that side. You might want to work out their arm a little bit just to balance yourself.
Correct.
Well, I think of it as real estate. I think I got up this morning and I didn't wear my beats. But I get this real estate is no longer for telling time, right? I see people wearing bracelets of all kinds. This is really more like a sort of a personal advertising space. This is who we are, just so you know, so we don't have the wrong conversation.
Yeah. Well, that's actually an interesting point that Christian brought up, was that that is a comfortable motion to people. And Denny, you're right. It's available. It's available on me because I quit wearing.
Right. So we don't wear a watch, but we do wear something else. Many people wear something on the wrist, just not a watch, right? Yeah. So I think it will be interesting to go back. So it's almost like, okay, now how do I go back to? So it's not just that I haven't wear a watch in the last 15 years, and now you want me to wear a watch. It's not even just that. It's just that I gave up. That space has been transitioned. That real estate has been transitioned to something else. So the question is what message do I want to convey now? Maybe if $12,000 gold Apple Watch is the information I want to convey. Maybe not, right?
So, we've been talking all four of us as techies, early adopters, and like this is pretty common for us with devices that come into the market. But the question is, what is the adoption to the regular people, the non-techies, right? So every time I have a question about a device and how it's going to be received in the market, my wife is the test bed because she is not. So I gave her one of these, and she's a personal trainer. So I gave her one of these as an experiment, just kind of like I gave her her first Chromebook as an experiment. And the ways she's using it are the ways that I was just talking about. What's the case for a wearable? So, for example, now she's not tethered to that phone. Before, we had this joke. If I ever got arrested, the last person I would call was my wife, because she never asked me.
Your phone.
Never asked you to tag.
That's isn't it?
So what's the use now? She has it right here. So now she see when it's me, she'll answer the phone or she send a quick reply. If she's washing dishes, if she's cleaning. Now, women interact with technology very different than men do. Women usually carry a purse, so their phones are in the purse. Or if they're caring for the children, they don't have the phone in a pocket. Typically, the pants that they wear, if they're wearing slacks or whatnot, the pant pockets are not as big to accommodate these bigger phones now. So typically, you will find a woman's phone when she's in a professional setting in a purse or in a attaché or something like that.
Hey, so what's her feedback so far?
I'm sorry?
What is her feedback so far? Does she like it?
She loves the fact that she does like it. She wears it every day. She loves the fact that she can track her exercises and fine-tune exercises for clients on the device based on the heartbeat ratings on it. She likes the fact that she constantly doesn't have to pull her phone out of her purse anymore. That she can those things that annoy her, and the reasons that she didn't respond quickly is because constantly having to take the phone out of the purse. Now she can just quickly glance at her wrist and respond from there.
Hey, Paul. We should probably close the show. We kind of wanted to make this a half-hour show or less, but I just thought that this is a perfect opportunity for you to give some advice to our young Jedi Christian. Never, back in the days, we know better to give a vacuum cleaner to a wife for Valentine's Day, right? I mean, and isn't that kind of similar to giving a smartwatch to your wife?
Well, I'm just in awe of the fact that he got away with it.
I know. I know. That's what I'm talking about. Giving your wife a smartwatch as an experiment. I mean, what balls does this guy have?
And with false pretenses too, because I bought the black one and then I wanted the silver one. So
I know. This guy has got balls, man, and he survived.
Kristen, you're now the master.
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing. I remember how. We would find among us one guy who says, "I just bought a vacuum cleaner for my wife for Valentine's Day," and he wouldn't hear the end of it.
I actually bought an i6 for my wife, but I gave it to her at a non-special occasion. Like, okay, I'm giving this to you as a tool. It's got nothing to do with her anniversary, or your birthday, or anything. It just, here's an iPhone 6 for you. So.
Yeah. And if you give it to her on her birthday, that has to be after the chocolate, right?
That's right. After everything, after the
flower, after everything else. We're so old school. I'm telling you.
No, I think, Denny,
I admit to that. Yeah.
There's probably somewhere in the middle that you can be. If you have the watch that was loaded already with a web page and account to like Jewelry TV and stuff like that, then it becomes a shopping medium.
Well, I'm really. I think this would be a recurring topic. Sort of the Google Glass, kind of a overhead projector kind of device, which I think that is actually quite useful. It just has to find its place. It might turn out to be a peripheral device for electric car someday. I can see that as an important tool for driving. But I'm anxious to see. I believe I never actually disbelieve in it. I just kind of question its timing. On the other hand, I think this could be the year for smart watches. We'll see, right?
Yeah, I think Apple's going to sell a ton of them, especially the higher end, the gold and the jewel encrusted ones. I mean, I'm hearing rumors that those things can go up to as high as $10,000.
Oh my God!
And now we're not going in the realm of technology, but we're encrusting jewelry to technology that has a lifespan maybe a couple of years. So, but there's a million wealthy people lining up just to have the status symbol.
I agree. I think that's absolutely true, Christian. I think you got it. We're still thinking back in the days when Apple computers became Apple the company, and we kind of say, oh, that's because they decide that they're no longer a computer company and they want to sell personal electronics. And I think what you said is correct in that they're already transitioning to
lifestyle company,
a luxury item.
Yeah.
They're already there. They're already there, and we just haven't caught up to it.
I mean, they dropped the computer name out of the name, but they sold more computers since than they did when they had the computer name on the name.
Right. So, I mean, I think as much as we're going to be seeing the launch of the Apple Watch, we're going to be seeing the launch of a brand new Apple company.
I think too, you guys alluded to this a minute ago, but I think if you've got $10,000 gold Apple Watch, it really doesn't matter if it works at all. You don't have to even know how to use it. It just looks good. You're just showing people, hey, I've got this expensive watch. It's totally jewelry. and might be some people that will do that, right? They'll just walk around with their gold Apple Watch. And, oh, look at me, man.
Paul, it's an interesting comment. I was driving to Los Angeles a while back, and I saw a guy driving a Ferrari, and he was in stop-and-go traffic in Los Angeles. You know, in this beautiful Ferrari, and it's the same thing.
Well, maybe we should close the show to talk about another potential Apple product, right? Which last couple of weeks people talk a great deal about potentially Apple making electric car. Maybe that is the product that they decided that it didn't have to work.
Well,
I think we focus too much on the technology and thinking about how is Apple going to be a manufacturing car. Maybe they got it all figured out. Maybe they just say, well, by that time. They're talking about by the year 2020 or whatever, and they said that they're predicting that they would be making electric car. Maybe they already got it figured out. By that time, people do just buy the product. It doesn't even have to work.
I think that Apple going into the car manufacturing shows a hubris that I don't think they will be able to overcome. It's a very different game designing and selling and servicing cars than iPhones. And you have manufacturers around the world that have been manufacturing vehicles for over 100 years, and they can tell you, and they'll tell you that the margins are 1%, 2%, 3%. On selling vehicles and heavy manufacturing. I think that Apple getting into the car manufacturing business, if I were an investor in Apple and held a lot of stock in Apple, that would give me a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think they should just buy Tesla with some of their spare change, really. I mean, why not?
Hey, Christian, we should sign off. But before we do that, I want to ask you for some advice. We're hoping that you can come back next time. Maybe Paul and I haven't really talked about how often we should do this, but since we skipped 2 weeks last time, maybe we should just skip 2 weeks, right, Paul?
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, maybe so much builds up in that time. We have a lot to talk about. That would be good.
So we'll see if we can get Christian back on in 2 weeks. In 3 weeks, skipping 2 weeks.
Okay.
But in case you can't get on, and my guess is that you will still watch the show when you have time. What advice can you give to Paul and I that where should we take this show? And what would make it so that it's attractive to you, even if you don't attend, that you might want to watch?
Well, it's hard for me to tell you because I don't know what direction you guys taken in the past.
That's okay. Just go ahead and give him advice. It's my choice to listen or not.
Well, I would say continue to with the humor angle of it. That always works. It's great. Nobody wants to watch Bueller. So current technology is always a great topic. Dissecting things where the layman can understand them. That's also great. That's our immediate goal, Paul and I, is to have just slightly more viewers than we have panel members. If we could maintain that, we call it a success. That's always a really great goal.
Okay, so with that, I want to thank Christian and Steve. Steve, go back. You're almost you have 14 minutes to go down and get a cup of coffee and go to your class.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that right now.
Thanks. Great seeing you, man.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody.
Okay, good seeing you, Christian. Good seeing you,
guys. It was a lot of fun. Thanks,
okay, Bob. So we'll skip 2 weeks. We'll skip 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Great,
okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.